Aloha, good morning. This is Caron Davis of Caron B Realty International, and very excited to have our own Alex Peach back. Alex has been a guest quite a few times on our Friday morning talking, and welcome again, Alex. And of course, we know Alex, he works for Colliers, a commercial broker, focusing on leasing for both tenants and landlords here in Honolulu. And um, it's one of these situations where we haven't had a chance to talk to Alex this year because he's a new dad. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How are you enjoying being a father?
Oh, it's been great. It's a huge change, but it's been amazing. Like my daughter, she's 2 months old, and she just finally, after a couple of weeks of trying to find her thumb, figured out how to suck her thumb, and just like seeing that was incredible. So I know all the other milestones are going to be amazing. But yeah, it's been really fun.
Congratulations, congratulations. And I know this was, getting you here was, of course, balancing work and now being a dad. So I'm just going to let you talk about what's going on with the commercial world out there with leasing and investment properties, and just so our audience gets an idea of, what is happening now and what we're going to look forward to as the year progresses on.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me back. Always good to be here. It's a very interesting time, especially in the office market. At least I think so, since this is kind of what I do day to day. But here in Hawaii, we continue to buck the trend of the office markets on the mainland. We don't have an incredibly high vacancy rate. Our latest numbers that aren't out yet from our own Colliers Q1 office market report is our island-wide vacancies at about 13.36%, which isn't too bad in office compared to, major metros on the mainland. San Francisco is, I think, almost up to 30, and our
Oh,
downtown is
wow. Yeah.
13.02%. So we're kind of
Mhm.
bucking, the trend of the mainland, which we have continued, have done in the past because of the fact that we're not overbuilt on office space, and it's starting to constrict as well. I think last time I was here, I was already talking about Davies Pacific Center downtown that sold near the beginning of last year, being
Mm-mm.
converted to residential fee simple condos. So they still have some office space for lease up to the fifth floor. Then I think it's 6 through 20 or so is going residential condos. Then they're doing some office condominiums for sale on the upper floors, I believe, and on the third floor. So that's interesting. They've pretty much got everyone moving out of there. So that's constricting the market. And then also Topa Financial Center, which is those two white towers at the bottom of Bishop Street and Port Street Mall, is being marketed for sale currently. So it
Oh,
remains to be seen if that is another, just office landlord that comes in and purchases that. Is there a potential for conversion there that would further constrict the market? So that I believe they're in escrow now.
oh, they
And
are in escrow. Wow, that's
yeah,
exciting.
so it'll be interesting to see if they go through and close and who that buyer is. But yeah, big changes coming to downtown because Avalon, who bought Davies Pacific Center, I'm sure you've seen it's been all over the news. Christine
Yeah.
Camp also just closed on the old Walmart property, and she's going to do a whole thing of pickleball courts and food and restaurant and a dog park, and then eventually add rental apartments above that. And then she's also bought into the partnership of the group that bought these little old historic buildings on Fort Street and hotel just above that. And it's
Yeah.
zoned that you could do a high rise. So I was just at a talk with her. She's going to do high rise. I don't know if it's going to be fee simple or rental, and that's down the road, but she's making a large
Mhm.
impact on downtown. And I think when you get
Oh, how
additional
exciting.
housing there, constricting the office
Yep.
space, it's really going to change like what downtown Honolulu looks like. And then,
Mm.
you come out to the suburban markets in Kahala, like there's no office space available. It's like there's literally, unless you want
Oh,
to locate your office in one of the couple retail spaces available, like you can't get an office there. So it's an interesting time, I think, here.
really interesting. When you mentioned the old Walmart site, whereabouts are you talking about for the old Walmart site?
So it was Macy's and then Walmart. So King and Fort Street Mall and Bethel are
Oh,
the streets that
okay.
kind of surround it. Yeah. So it was Macy's forever. Walmart came in. It has the parking above it. Um,
Yeah.
So yeah, Christine's making a big stamp on downtown Honolulu, and I think, all of her changes come 5 to 10 years from now, things are going to look a
Yeah.
lot different. Right now it's like people come into work and slowly are coming back. More people are in the office, but it's a ghost town after, 5:30. There's going to be more and more people living down there because you already had 1132 Bishop Street convert to residential rentals, and they're
Yes.
pretty much full up on residents. So there's a lot more activity and, people being there after hours. So it'll be interesting.
I'll be really interesting. I mean, maybe that will do it because I know many years ago, a couple of restauraeurs, they had tried to change the whole look of downtown, and it was kind of a bit of a fight all the time. But maybe going in and changing these office spaces to residential will, really make it more friendlier for people to go downtown during
Yeah.
the evening, of course.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, that's always the challenge. But hopefully that additional activity, people being around and not just kind of letting like vagrancy move in after dark, will help out. So yeah, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And the other kind of, I have no prediction for this. I just want to see how it goes out. Is just like everything else. I mean, everyone's kind of being squeezed on pricing. Like operating costs are rising at all of these buildings,
yeah,
and
yeah,
landlords can only reduce their rent so much and still, give a tenant
yeah,
improvement allowance to tenants. So really
yeah,
gross rents are actually up from pre-COVID times, which you wouldn't really expect in office, but it's mostly driven by the operating costs going up, like insurance costs going through the roof. And so
yeah,
it remains to be seen how low base rents can get and still make things work, or how much, additional expense people can absorb for, their offices and justify the space they have. I mean, similar things I've heard going on in retail, it's just so hard to pay the rent, pay your labor, everything else, and then still make a profit on top of that.
yeah. No, I've heard that. I was talking to someone about even the Kailua market the other day, and the space, the retail space, and people are having a tough time right now because the rents have gone up with the costs that the landlord have. So, I mean, how do you see that maybe working out in the long run? Because it is a big problem of keeping businesses alive. The costs they have, and yet the landlord has more costs with the electrical costs and insurance, like you mentioned, going up.
Yeah, yeah, it's tough. I don't, unfortunately, I think operating costs are going to continue to rise. And I think the only thing, I mean, aside from people just fully saying, as they were doing COVID, like, okay, we don't need an office and we're going remote, but I think the word that's kind of been spoken that that's not going to, fully remote doesn't really work. At least I'm seeing it across the nation. I've read a lot of articles that people are calling people back, but I think especially here in Hawaii, where you don't have a ton of extra space, people don't have, everybody doesn't have a 5 bedroom house with their own office. So it's
Yeah.
a lot harder if you have a couple and they're both working remotely. Like, where is everybody going? So I think that short of people just giving up office space, maybe people start constricting, trying to find as much efficiency as they can within their space, trying to give up a little more space. But I think all of that
Yeah.
should be offset by some of these office conversions. So, I don't know. As the market tightens because there's less space, usually you'd see rents go up, but I don't know how much additional rent people are going to be able to pay. Though traditionally, like an office user,
Mm-mm.
their rent and real estate should only be 6%, maybe up to 10% of their total expenses. So there
Yes.
probably is, that's my dog. There probably is some room there for additional, office expense. But I think that most people are probably going to start looking at their space and saying, where can I find some efficiencies? They'll probably be moving around building to building just to find a little bit more efficiency in their office space.
Wow. And then, Alex, with all these changes happening, what are you doing with your business currently? How's that affecting, or what are you working on currently, or what do you see as big opportunities down the road for yourself?
For myself, really, I think that I'm working on a lot of relocations, and it's just, a lot of the times when someone is in their space and they need to change, they need to give up some space. It's just easier to relocate, whether to another building, to another floor, than try to do it within your space. And I'm also, I think the big opportunities are having a good contact list, because the biggest hindrance for most office relocations lately have been construction costs. And so
Yeah.
having the right people, having the right contractors, the right people to call, even for paint and carpet. I mean, sometimes just, or like
Yeah.
LVT flooring, some of the times those quotes are coming back just
Yeah.
through the roof. And so having the right people to call and say, hey, why don't we reach out to these people and get get it done at a lower price, it has been really important for me.
Yeah.
So having the right just kind of Rolodex of people to go with, and also insurers, I've got some great
Yeah.
relationships with some commercial insurers. And so helping with those insurance costs, whether on the landlord side or on the tenant side, has been helpful.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And it's interesting you should say that. That was one of the biggest reasons I started my own company. It was back in 2000 right now. It's gone so quick. But, I thought a lot of my energy, not only helping people, buy or sell real estate, but is having a vendor list that's reputable to help them with whatever they need to do, whether it's renting their house or whether it's selling or buying, that they have, good contractors, good paint, and the rates are good, they're reliable. And that's a big part of our service for our clients also.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. There's, you have to have the people, outside of your own specialty to bring in to
Yeah.
get all these
Yeah.
things done and, service your clients properly. So
Exactly. Well, thank you for your time today. That's so exciting. I can't wait to see what happens with the Tuffa Tower downtown. And, next quarter we'll have you in again, and hopefully you can give us more of an update of what's going on with everything.
yeah, there's potential that by the end of next quarter we'll know one way or another, if the building closed, who bought it, and maybe what some of the initial plans are. So there should be some more to
You
talk
know when
about.
it's supposed to close?
I've heard the end of May, but I don't know what extensions are available,
Okay.
things like that. So we'll see. Or
Look
I've heard
forward to
that's
hearing.
when their due diligence runs out. So actually, it probably will be a little bit beyond that, but we'll see.
Oh, no, wonderful. Okay, on that note, I'm just going to share my screen. As you know, we always have Mary Ann's photos, and she focuses on the skies, our beautiful skies we're seeing right now out there, and her photos. And I'll just flip through these. Some incredible rainbows. I was on the Big Island Easter weekend, and the rainbows were incredible also. But as you can see, the skies are just very magical, and the clouds. And then, of course, our sunsets. But Alex, thanks. I know you have to run off. I appreciate your time today. And we will see you later. We'll catch up. And thank you. Our space is working out great that you helped us with. You're the best. So if anyone needs anything to do with office leasing, please, we'll put Alex's details. He's the best. I can't begin to tell you how helpful he is. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Caron. Appreciate it. Take care.
Okay, take care. Bye.